Jay Crawford, love Jay. He loves baseball, which I love. You know I love baseball. I love that he wants to talk baseball all the time. It's great. But Jay, who knows his stuff, is the most prisoner of the moment smart sports fan I know. Usually, prisoner of moment fans don't know as much, but Jay knows his stuff.
Incredibly intelligent when it comes to the game. Incredibly intelligent.
And yet he is so prisoner of the moment. So Jay yesterday apparently said that the Guardians are 5 players away from...
He's being a little hyperbolic.
Yeah.
The question was, after the series against the Rays,
is
this a wake-up call for the front office that they need to go get a bat? We talked about the horrific offensive display, Stephen Kwan's leadoff double on Sunday, then getting no hit the rest of the way. And Jay's, I'm going to summarize and paraphrase what Jay said, but essentially he said, well, I don't know if it's a real wake-up call for the front office because they're not just 1 player away, they're 5 players away. And once again, 5 was being exaggerative. But
I don't know that you could ever say definitively that any team in baseball is 1 player away. It's kind of a hard thing to pin down. And if you're of the mindset that the Guardians are just not good enough and that they should wave the white flag and not make any moves and give the front office and ownership a pass to do nothing again this year for the 10th season in a row, then okay, I kind of understand a little bit because they're not playing well right now. They're playing poor baseball. Their pitching has been, up and down. Some guys have been good, some guys have not. The lineup mostly is the culprit. It's been terrible. The base running and defense haven't been as sharp as they usually are. But here's the thing. Baseball's a long season. We've seen this time and time again.
Yep.
Do I think the Guardians are going to win the World Series this year? I do not. Is it hard for any team that, the teams that win the World Series are mostly teams that spend a lot of money. That's just the way it goes. So Ken Rosenthal put out an article today in The Athletic saying that the fact that the Brewers and the Rays are 2 of the 3 best teams in baseball this year is going again. And listen, folks, you know me. I hate the owners. I'm pro-union. But the owners are right in this case. There is not a competitive balance. Now, don't get me wrong. The owners do not care about you, the fans. They don't. None of them do. The players don't care about you either. Maybe some of them care about the fans on some level, owners and players, but mostly they don't. They only care about making the most money, and that is what it is. The owner's that way, the player's that way. That's just the reality of the situation. And so Ken Rosenthal wrote an article today that I didn't read, and I will read it later today because I just saw it. But my guess is it's going to be disingenuous to argue that, hey, this thing that the owners are complaining about, competitive balance, they're wrong. Look at the Brewers. Look at the Rays. But what are those teams going to do in the playoffs? We'll see. Maybe the Brewers will win the World Series. Maybe the Rays will win the World Series. I don't know. They haven't won any yet, and they've been competitive many, many times, same as the Guardians. The fact is that most of the teams that go to the World Series are top 8 payrolls. We know the Guardians went in 2016 when they were higher, but they were not top 8. But for the most part, and outside of the Royals who won, who's a team that doesn't spend money, and the Royals won in 2015,
Was that Rangers team that won a few years ago? Was that a high-spending team?
Yeah. I mean, if they weren't top 8, they were top 10.
Okay.
They were right there.
In that range.
Yes, no doubt about it. So, so that being said, if the Guardians want to keep spending no money, they'll be competitive in what's a terrible AL Central. But the American League, my premise on why the Guardians should go in remains the same. The Guardians are a pretty good team that's playing terribly right now. They didn't go in last year, which I understood, and then look what they did in the final month. Maybe if they had made some additions, you get hot and cold. That's part of baseball.
Yeah. We
got to stop looking at baseball the same way we look at other sports. Good teams in football are usually good for a whole season. Same thing for basketball. It sometimes happens differently in those sports. Sometimes teams get off bad starts or they fall apart at the end. But there's not this dramatic difference, right? But in baseball, it happens all the time. Even the Brewers, who have the second best record in baseball, I think it's second best, they got off to a terrible start. They were lousy in April. Okay, so you never know when that bad month's going to come. I get it. The Guardians' offense looks completely lost, and maybe they're going to stink on offense the rest of the season. But I don't buy that. I think their offense, on paper to me, is good enough to at least be mediocre for the last 2 months of the season, which is not good enough in the playoffs. But if they supplemented and got aggressive, then maybe it would be better. I think the Guardians first of all, what are they going to do? They're going to go the opposite way and sell? What do they have to sell?
I don't think they have many players that they would even be considering as trade options that have any value. Yeah.
You're not going to sell those guys.
Exactly.
You're not going to sell the Lauder. You're not going to sell Bazzana. You're not going to sell Jose, who's the franchise player. You're not going to sell Gavin Williams or Tanner Bybee or Cantillo or Kate
Would Kwan
Smith.
be the only player?
Kwan has no value.
That's
You're
what
not
I'm saying.
getting anything for Kwan.
That's kind of my point.
I mean, you get something, but not much. So what's the point of doing that?
No, I agree. I'm just pointing out he's the one guy.
Any guy that has value on the Guardians is not a guy you're going to want to trade. So to me, you either stand pat, which is pointless, or you get aggressive. And you want to get aggressive within reason, fine. Don't trade Ralphie Velasquez. Don't trade your top 2-3 prospects unless you're going to get a superstar. And if you can get just 2 good hitters, well, you can trade middle your prospects 5 through 15. Most of those guys don't pan out anyway. It's time to get aggressive. The Yankees aren't that good. The Rays, yeah, they're better than the Guardians right now, but if you look at them on paper, they're just not that much better. Their lineup is flawed too. They're playing better baseball. That's it. None of these teams have a clearly better roster. I really believe that. In the American League. In the National League, there's 5-6 teams that are clearly better than the Guardians. But they would only have to play one of them if they got that far.
Just one of them. And I think since we've started UCSS Bowl, to your credit, and I'm being serious, I'm giving you credit, you have changed my perspective on baseball. Because I was coming into this show way more on the reactionary side than on the it's a 162-game roller coaster side. Mm-hmm. And after what the Guardians did to end the season last year, what we've seen from the Guardians over the course of the 4 years of the show, it is proven when you're covering it day in and day out, there are ebbs and flows and ebbs and flows. And the Guardians had won 7-9 before they've lost these 5 in a row. So they were hot.
Yeah.
Then they've been cold. And they're going to get hot again. Yes. And then they're going to stink for a little bit. And then they're going to get hot.
That's right.
And then they're going to stink. And to your point, the American League is so wide open right now. So wide open.
Yeah.
That there's no reason that the Guardians, either as currently constructed, I don't think so, but possibly, or with the addition of even just a mid-tier bat or a mid-tier player at the deadline, maybe 2, couldn't get hot at the right time and go on a run.
Yeah.
That's what matters in baseball more than anything else.
That's right.
The Dodgers have had the most talented roster in baseball for 5 of the last 6 years, maybe 6 of the last 6.
Yeah.
They got 1 World Series, 2 World Series in that span, right?
Yeah.
They've lost 4. The most talented roster does not always win in baseball. It's about which team is playing the best baseball at the right time. And there's no reason to believe that the Guardians, I shouldn't say no reason to believe.
Yeah.
There's a chance that the Guardians could get hot at the right time and be this year's team in October because of how wide open the American League is. You're right. If they were in the NL Central, I don't see the path. But in the American League right now, you can't tell me they don't have as good a shot as anyone else.
And by the way, I know, listen, Indians/Guardians fans have had their sand kicked in their face. They've gotten to 3 World Series. They've lost them. It's crushing. But it's still, those were still fun seasons. Obviously, I wasn't in Cleveland for the first 2, and it was a weird situation I was in. But that run to the World Series was fun. I know it ended in sadness, but there's no one out there that can't tell me they didn't have a great time along the way. And if the Guardians somehow got to the World Series, they'd be a massive underdog no matter who they play this year. And odds are they would lose in the World Series. But I don't think it's ridiculous that they could get to the World Series. I know it feels ridiculous at the moment because at the moment the team is playing poorly. So it's crazy to say it at the moment. But I'm telling you, it's not insane to think the Guardians could get to the World Series. I'm not even telling you they're the favorites in the American League. They're not. But again, go look at rosters. If you know baseball, tell me whose roster is so much better that they couldn't beat in the American League. And if you had a run to the World Series, I mean, think about it. The Braves were under 500 2 months into the season when they won their last World Series. The Nats were under 500, I think, around the All-Star break when they won their World Series.
Weren't they 43 and 45 and then got red hot the second half?
That's right. The Rangers and Diamondbacks, when they played in the World Series, both teams barely made the playoffs.
They're both wild card teams, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you want to see him add?
What do you mean?
Right now?
What do I want to see him add? I thought you said at.
No, sorry, add.
Yes. What do I? Bats. I want 2 bats. 2. I'll settle for 1, but I want 2 bats. Good players, not like legit. I'm not asking for them to be superstars. I'm asking them to be good major league hitters.
What position? In an ideal world, what position?
In an ideal world, it would be center field and catcher. I don't think they're going to do catcher. So get a center fielder and get 2 outfielders, for crying out loud. Get a center fielder and a DH. Get a center fielder and a first baseman. And if that means you get rid of Hoskins or Manzardo doesn't play for a little while, so be it. He's playing terribly. But ideally, it would be center field and catcher. But I can't. There's really
they already made the trade for Patrick Bailey. I can't see him making another trade for a catcher.
Spencer Steer, who's one of their top targets, is hurt now. So that's unfortunate. But there are players out there. You have to be aggressive. All right.